Christopher Columbus, Cristobal Colon. He is one of the most famous explorers. He is known for the discovery of America in 1492. Columbus wanted to reach India by crossing the Atlantic Ocean, but ended up in a new world. And his discovery is a pivotal point in world history. Just as remarkable as Columbus' discoveries is his own life. He came from a humble background and managed to gain access to the royal courts of both Portugal and Spain. And there he pleaded for a westward route to Asia. From his sea experience and his insights, this seemed a short crossing. Although some may have assumed that the earth was flat, Columbus pointed out that others, centuries ago, had discovered that the earth was round. Therefore, it was possible to sail to India through the west. Unfortunately, despite all the scientific evidence for a round earth, the myth persisted among the people that you could fall off the earth. And those who did not allow themselves to be catched in the foolishness of the myth were still afraid to sail west, because the distance was unknown, and the sea journey carried the risk of starvation. After years of lobbying, Columbus received permission from Queen Isabella of Castile, so he left and became governor of the Spanish colony of Hispaniola. Little is known about Columbus' origins. He was born in Genoa in 1451. He was the son of weavers, his father Domenico Colombo and his mother was Susanna Fortuna Rosa. And this made Columbus a man of low birth. A weaver with the name Domenico Colombo owned an inn in neighboring Savona in 1470. So a recent alternative proposal is that Columbus and his parents came from Portuguese Cuba, because Columbus did not speak a word of Italian, but he did speak Portuguese. He named the first island he discovered in the New World Cuba, and gave surrounding places names that matched those around Portuguese Cuba. A Spanish friend described Columbus as a man of great intelligence. He had gone to sea as a merchant at an early age and gained comprehensive experience navigating the oceans on relatively long voyages. Columbus learned Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Portuguese and Castilian, and he read astronomy, geography and history. Several historians have chosen to express the idea that Columbus was descended from Jews who had converted to Christianity. What are the sources for this idea? Altogether, there are numerous arguments for the idea that Columbus was a Portuguese Jew. Let me start with these arguments. First, the references to Jewish faith. First, at the beginning of his journal, Columbus announces that he is leaving shortly after the political order to persecute the Jews. In the same month in which their majesties, Ferdinand and Isabella, issued the edict that all Jews must be expelled from the kingdom and its territories, they gave me the order to undertake my voyage of discovery to India with sufficient men. So Columbus also refers several times in his later travel journals to the expulsion of the Jews from Spain. A second point. On all the personal letters of his only legal son Diego, he places the Hebrew letters Bet He, an abbreviation for the Hebrew Bezrat Hashem, with the help of God. Only one personal letter lacks these Hebrew letters. A third point. On his first trip, he referred to Jewish holidays in his diary. This is very strange if he was no Jew. The next point. Columbus departed just on the evening of the Jewish Day of Mourning, which remembers the destruction of the temple, the destruction of Solomon by the Babylonians. And this day is called by Jews Tisha B'Av, which is at the Jewish day the 9th of the month Ab. At 11 p.m. of a summer day on August 2nd, 1492, his ships departed. This kind of travel time at 11 p.m. did not occur among Christians. Only Jews would wait till the end of such a day of remembrance before setting sails. At the sun, the day was past for Jews and a new day began. Columbus did not wait till the morning, but left Spain at night. Next point. Columbus sends his first letter from the New World to his Jewish supporters. Why didn't he immediately, or at the same time, send a letter to the royal court? Then we have sources that Columbus is a Jew from the Jewish support for his sea voyage. All the personalities who supported Columbus were of Jewish origin. At the Spanish court, a Jewish convert, or Marrano, Louis of San Gangel, was one of them. The Marranos were Jews who had been converted to Christianity. The next point. The Spanish queen, Isabella of Castile, is in favor of Columbus' proposal. However, when it comes to providing financial support for the sea voyage, she writes that she is prepared to sell her jewel to provide Columbus with money. Using the word jewel indirectly refers to the Jews in her country, whom she despised and cannot stand. The Spanish crown itself has no money because it is spent on the war with the Moors. However, Columbus' voyages of discovery were mainly made possible by 4 Jewish Sephardic benefactors. The 3 Jewish converts, Louis de Sandangel, Abraham Senior and Gabriel Sanchez, and the Jew Don Isaac Abrabanel are particularly worth mentioning. The next point. Columbus had a Jewish interpreter on board for his historic voyage. The next point. There was no single priest on board, which is very strange for a Christian sea voyage. The next point. The greatest cartographers of his time were Jews. Columbus used maps, calculations and instruments of Jews, including the Jew Abraham Zacuto. Zacuto was a highly regarded Spanish astronomer, astrologer, mathematician, rabbi and historian. The next evidence that Columbus was a Jew is his biography. Columbus usually wrote in Castilian. However, sometimes he also used Hebrew in his writings. This was a language he also mastered. His parents were weavers, and this was probably due to their background as Jews. Jews were rejected from many professions, and weaving was a profession that Jews mainly practiced. There are strong indications that Columbus' early wife was Jewish. Together with Columbus, she had a son, Diego. Unfortunately, however, his wife would die at an early age. Next point, the high knowledge. Mathematics, astronomy and geology was extraordinary for a weaver's son. The only exception was if someone had a Jewish background. The next point. Columbus donated 10% of his estate to poor girls to serve as a future dowry. This is a typical Jewish custom. Then Columbus had quite a nomadic existence. He stayed in different countries, which was a characteristic of many Jews. Columbus kept his royal identity secret from his descendants until his deathbed. Then he took all information about his possible real name and origin to the grave. The next point. Christopher is a name often given to Jewish Marranos converts. Almost all of them were forced conversions. On the outside, these converted Jews lived as Christians, but they abhorred Christianity and clung to the Jewish faith deep in their hearts. The name Columbus also indicates a Jewish origin. In Spanish, Columbus is called Cristobal Colón. The name Colón is possibly derived from Cohen, meaning priest. The surname Cohen then indicates that Columbus was from the tribe of Levi. In 1890, the magnificent Columbus tomb was built in the Spanish town of Seville. And around 1892, the Roman Catholic Church requested existing documentation on Christopher Columbus from all dioceses. The church wanted to beautify him. When all the documents had been received, the Vatican finally refused. Did they suddenly realize that Columbus was a Portuguese Jew from the town of Cuba? In any case, Christian historians realized early on the advantage that it would bring if Columbus was one of them, a Christian. It was then thanks to the prosperity of the Christian people that the New World was discovered. And let us look to the day of Columbus' departure. Columbus left the port of Palos on the very last day, the night between the 2nd and 3rd of August. That's the last day the ultimatum was given by the government to the Jews. And the Jews in Spain realized from then on that the Inquisition would strike merciless in their lives. Therefore, Columbus wanted to move as far away as possible from the horrific Inquisition sites on earth. During the voyages Columbus undertook to the New World, he took numerous Jews with him. In doing so, he took the risk that the Inquisition would discover these hidden Jews and call him to account. What Columbus did on his sea voyages entailed a great risk. Columbus, however, carefully concealed his Jewishness. He did not want to be arrested by the Inquisition and therefore hoped to find a place of refuge for the persecuted Jews. Thus Columbus' sea voyage was not about the desire to reach India. That was only a pretext. His main concern was finding a place where the Jews could live safely from the Spanish crown, based on his Jewish faith. At the same time, he hoped to find the lost tribes of Israel on earth. Every message that referred to the lost tribes of Israel in the 14th century was eagerly read by Jews. They hoped to find the lost ones on earth and build up a safe existence in their vicinity. Because Columbus kept his background secret, it remains impossible to prove precisely that he was a Jew. There are, however, numerous facts that prove this and show that Columbus' choice was at least the result of Sephardic Jews. To this have been added some stunning discoveries in recent years. For example, 2018 DNA research in Latin America showed that predominantly Jewish diseases characterized 25% of the population. This means that 25% of the 650 million inhabitants of South America had Jewish DNA. This supports the possibility that Columbus took numerous Jews on board and brought them to the New World. In the case of his first voyage, this may be explained by the fact that no one else dared to undertake an unknown voyage. But on the second to fourth voyage, it was much more logical that influential Spanish people began to complete the sail to the New World. From these reflections, it is possible to demonstrate that Columbus was a Jew.